questions truthfully and succinctly, okay? So let's get going. So the journey of the soul and really how it relates to race, because I've been getting a lot of people really talking about my idea that this knowledge is for everyone. And I truly believe that, and that's the way I present it. So I present it through my experience. So my experience as a Black man in America is not going to be everybody's experience. Everybody can't relate to exactly what I've been through, but can. But I relate this information through my Christian experience and through me as a Black man here in America. Okay, and a member of the African diaspora worldwide. So this idea is about the journey of the soul. And in ancient Kemet, the soul was the primary entity taught about in their teachings, okay? So when we're talking about, for them, the soul, what the ideas that they taught about was about how the soul entered the world and how the soul acclimated itself to the world and how the soul connected itself to the human body, the human brain, and stuff like that, okay? So even the story of Jesus in the Bible is literally about the soul's journey and is giving you formulaic information about how the soul expresses itself and powers that the soul might have, okay? So as a soul, we actually choose to incarnate, okay? We choose to incarnate in a particular race, family, and culture for the lessons that soul can get from being in that environment, okay? So you literally choose your parents. We choose the most important people and events in our lives. And like if you end up having a spouse or you meet somebody that's really important to you in your life that help you through things or whatever, you usually have chosen those people to play a certain part. So it's kind of like our lives are kind of analogous to being on a stage play or in a movie, okay? And we're the actors in that movie, and we are the ones that are set up to be the hero in the movie, okay? So that's a good analogy of how the soul and our physical life works together. So with that said, we are never victims on this journey. And I know for a lot of Black people, we think a lot of times that we've been cursed, and we accept that teaching from Christianity and the curse of Ham, that we've been cursed and we're being punished for being in really the system of white supremacy and racism and being immersed in that the way that we are. But there are never victims. So we came here as a soul because we have lessons to learn, okay? So all the major emotional events are set up to help us gain wisdom, to elevate in consciousness as a soul, and to connect to your higher self as a physical being. So our soul, you can think of it kind of like our bodies are to the soul. A lot of times in dream imagery, our bodies are imaged as like a car or some type of a vehicle that our soul is inside of. Okay, so dream imagery, that's what it is. So the soul is driving the car, but the car can sometimes get out of control, and that can be us emotionally, us egotistically. So it's a symbiotic relationship that sometimes the soul, a body can be and a brain can be so emotionally out of control that the soul cannot control it. Okay. This person loses the connection in a sense where they don't know or follow their intuition or anything like that. It could be due to mental illness. It could be due to a lot of things. But sometimes the soul can get to where it can't communicate intuitively with the physical brain. Okay, so that literally can happen. Okay, so as a soul, the most difficult lives are the ones that give us that we gain the most wisdom from. So when you really have a difficult life, you're getting your behind beat up, quite often. then usually that's the life that you gain the most wisdom from. If you have an easy life, then you really don't go through any trials, because in a sense you gain wisdom through opposites. So in other words, if you want to learn self-love, then you're going to be put in a position to where people don't love you. You're going to be put in a position where you're not appreciated. You're going to be put in a position where you might be put down because of how you look, your skin color, your hair, your race, so stuff like that. So that's kind of the wisdom that, as Black people in this system of white supremacy and racism, that's a lesson for us collectively that we're having to work through. Okay, but the deal is that a lot of times as Black people, we get angry at white people because of the role that they're playing in our stage play. Okay, even the system itself of white supremacy and racism is giving us the opportunity to rise above it. Okay, but a lot of times the way that we as Black people look at it is we want white people to change. And really the idea comes down to our thinking is implied. The implied thinking is that if you change, my life will be better. That's a victim's mentality, okay? Because the victim can only hope the perpetrator will change, because the victim feels powerless. And in this life, from a soul perspective, we are not powerless. We got to remember who we are, okay? So both of us, race-wise, we're in a dance, okay? And we both have lessons to learn from each other, all right? So a lot of times what happens with whites is they project their fears onto us, you know? They project their fears about sexuality, their fears about their subconscious, because the dark is the subconscious, the unknown. So that's how we've been treated in a certain way where it's because of their fears. Okay, and we're fearful because we feel like we're trying to, like they're trying to annihilate us. But both of us have lessons to learn from each other. Okay, and until we as humanity recognize the victim perpetrator roles and we rise above those, then we're going to keep struggling with this race construct, because it really comes down to there is no race, there's only the human race, you know. So there's no differences in the races. Okay, so as long as we see ourselves as a victim, we won't learn our lessons and we will not advance as a people. All right, so that's what I'm trying to get people to understand here, is that yes, there is a struggle, definitely, but we have to rise above the struggle, and we have to look at it from a soul level perspective, and we have to look at it from the perspective of if you were a soul, or not, if you are a soul that literally lives thousands of lives, and if you live thousands of lives, then you incarnate. You know, it's like being on a roller coaster. You know, when you're on the roller coaster, it might seem kind of scary, you might seem kind of afraid, but from a soul perspective, you know you're going to get off the roller coaster at some point, and then you'll get on it again, but you'll be in another form, another physical body. Okay, so the fear that you have, that's one of the things that all of humanity that we have to work through is those fears and become balanced. Okay, that's the idea of Ma'at, that we become balanced, where we don't let emotions sweep us one way or the other. Okay, so that's really the idea of the soul. So we must see ourselves from a higher perspective, and if we're living thousands of lives, uh, we sometimes we're the good guy, sometimes we're the bad guy. We incarnate as different races. We incarnate as different sexes. Okay, so we don't because as a soul, you have to learn from all perspectives in order to really assimilate the human experience. So, and when I say assimilate, that means getting it to where you're vibrationally at an even keel, to where, like I said, you're not being swept one way or the other. Okay. So again, we're not victims as Black people. We're not victims. We're gods and goddesses, and we have to rise. We have to raise our level of consciousness and raise our level of thinking about how we're going to deal with the race thing. And when it really comes down to it, it's not about changing what's out there. It's about what's change. It's about changing what's in here. Okay. And when we change what's in here, we literally change our consciousness. That information is uploaded to the universal consciousness, and then somebody else can download the information that we've learned, that wisdom that we've learned. We'll get that inspiration, those aha moments. That's how those happen. Okay. So we think that we're going to change somebody out there, but in reality, how change happens is through consciousness and that loop of consciousness. Okay. So so we can get to questions. So Tamara Lewis asks, what about karma? So karma is one of those things that is so grossly misapplied as a concept, because it's like karma in a way is just like really Christian hell. You get punished for something. But in reality, when we're talking about the soul, the Kemetic aspect of the soul that is immersed in the human body is the Osarian or Osirian aspect. Okay, so that's what Osar and Osiris represents, the actual part of the soul that is immersed in the physical body. Well, when you have strong emotional experiences, those experiences are the ones that actually register with the soul. And in Kemetic terms, they said that it actually puts a signature on you. Okay. That it ends up registering to a point to where it travels with you through lifetimes. Okay. So as in the Osirian path, we talk about the cyclical path. Well, if you have had strong emotions, let's say a racist. A racist is emotions that about race. So that person can literally, if they don't reconcile that emotion, then they can literally reincarnate as, say if that person was white, they could reincarnate as a Black person, because that emotion is going to tie them to that lesson. Okay, so those emotions about being racial and stuff like that, and it's going to tie them to those lessons so they can learn what the other person felt like. Okay, so that's how they would gain wisdom. It's not a punishment. It's to give you the opportunity to see the other perspective. So that's how you would reincarnate in another race. If let's say that you're an abusive man and you're abusive to women, you might incarnate as a woman next time so that you can understand what that woman feels like. The soul that was the woman that you abused, y'all might change places, okay? And that person comes your abuser in the next life. That's how karma works. So it's not a punishment, it's just giving that person another perspective. Let's see.